Bridge for Chelsea against Arsenal. A derby game between London's two unbeaten clubs, two successful sides, both of whom won trophies last season. But Chelsea, for whom Peter Osgood is about to have a controversial game, are able to field a much more settled side. This, in fact, is the one that drew with Everton in midweek. Arsenal are hit by injuries and they're filled with defensive players, none better than our guest today, Bob McNabb. A side missing strikers like Radford, Samuels and George, and defender Peter Simpson as well. But in Frank McClintock, they have an inspiring skipper, and today, for a change, we want to show you what captaincy is all about. Here he is going around all the young players around him, giving them a word of advice and a word of encouragement. He's had one with Ray Kennedy, he's had one with Eddie Kelly. In a moment, he'll do the same with young John Roberts as well. McClintock, who really has got this Arsenal side moving, and it's moments like this that make the difference possibly between winning and losing. He's going to make sure that these players go into the game in the right frame of mind. A 53,000 crowd, biggest of the day, now waiting for the kick-off.
So Chelsea, all in blue, get us away, defending that goal to our left against an Arsenal side bristling with defenders. Four fullbacks, no less, in this lineup. Rice, McNabb, Story in the number 8 shirt, and Sammy Nelson in the number 9, with Radford out of the side. Here's Weller for Chelsea. Both sides unbeaten this season, London's two most successful sides in these opening first few weeks. Bob Wilson, the Arsenal goalkeeper here, number 1. And a push in the back by Dempsey on George Graham. John Dempsey, who came up and scored one of the goals against Everton on Wednesday night. And it's John Roberts with the free kick for Arsenal. Get it away, the game by Dempsey, beating Kennedy in the air. Houseman. Certainly Chelsea you would expect to make most of the running this afternoon, with Arsenal so crippled by injury and fielding so many defensive players. The onus really is much more on Chelsea. Here's Weller to Mulligan. Hollins, and a poor pass there from Hollins, easily read by McNabb, and now McNabb, having rather committed himself and supported though by George Graham. McNabb going in hard and failing. Now Hudson. Doing well in a little, very limited space, and going in hard there was Osgood, with that ball bouncing just ahead of Wilson. Made it difficult for him to gather. Kelly and Graham, but straight to Hudson, and now Hollins to Weller for Chelsea. Hudson has gone on very well, but he's found Story with him, and down goes Hudson. Hacked away a little bit there by Story, letting him certainly know that he was there, was Story. But it's Chelsea's kick, and Hollins with it towards Dempsey. Oh, and he's lost it as Wilson. And a corner? No, a free kick given against Chelsea. Kennedy. Rice making a great advance down the right. George Graham back in midfield. And Armstrong, but too high for Armstrong. And Mulligan for Chelsea. To Weller. Weller a little too slow. And Hudson finding Dempsey, finding Bonetti. Strange how a back pass at the other end was booed. This end is cheered. Osgood. Weller. Mulligan. And McNabb for Arsenal. Nelson to Graham. And Hollins putting that obligingly into the path there of Sammy Nelson. Hollins desperately trying to make ground, and as well for him that Dempsey was right back as well. George Graham with a shot. Down goes Bonetti. Good work there by Bonetti. right along the ground, just going inside that post. And Bonetti was down brilliantly from George Graham. Very nearly the first goal of the match to Arsenal, but now it's a corner for them and Eddie Kelly to take it. Kennedy on the goal line, Roberts has gone up, Graham, and is coming through to Armstrong. Story going in, and Rice there as well, and now Kelly to put it back again. Roberts beaten there fractionally though by Weller, and that was enough. And a throw to Arsenal. Hollins to Weller, and Hollins has gone on, a man who loves to make these breaks, and down he's pulled there by Nelson. There's Nelson, obviously realising he had to do something, but another yard to his left and that would have been inside the penalty area. And a free kick then to Chelsea. Two men in the wall only. And Hollins with a little dipper flicked on though by Kelly. And now Dempsey! Oh, having a shot there, charged down, which would have had Wilson unsided, charged down by George Graham. Harris to Hudson. And Hutchinson, can he turn on it? But he gets a corner. So Arsenal now under a bit of pressure, as you get the feeling that Chelsea realise that they must take the initiative. They've got to come forward with a great deal of resolve and a great deal of initiative. Dempsey, of course, is staying right up there. There he is, number 5. Hutchinson, the number 10, and Osgood, the number 9. 3 big men for Alan Hudson to aim for. Hutchinson, quite clearly, they're saying, give it to me in the air. And Wilson, I would have thought, must have been impeded there by Peter Osgood. Took a knock as well. Goalkeeper stock in trade, I would have thought, to take those sort of knocks. And Bob, of course, well realises that from those situations when the elbows and the heads and the bodies are flying. But he wouldn't want a black eye for television. And Dempsey this time penalised. And now Eddie Kelly. But nobody there from Arsenal. Hollins for Chelsea, finding Weller. Hutchinson and Weller. But nobody up with him. Weller's really got to go it alone. 2, 4, 6, 7 Arsenal defenders back. And Weller entirely on his own. And that really is very much the pattern of things so far this afternoon, as Kennedy now looks for something in attack for Arsenal. George Armstrong to George Graham. Sammy Nelson. And Graham, in fact, was clipped there from behind by Weller, but Arsenal still in possession. Bob McNabb. McClintock. And now to Rice. Nodded on very nicely there by Kennedy, but Graham couldn't get in quickly enough on it. Hollins, but straight to Nelson. McClintock. And George Armstrong. Nelson. Played for Armstrong. Hudson watching him. Nelson again with space enough to cross this ball now. Armstrong looking for it. The ball comes through to McNabb with a shot. Oh, and Bonetti grabbing that at the second goal from Bob McNabb, who crept in almost unnoticed. So Arsenal, for all their defence, have had the 2 real worthwhile shots of the game so far. The second of them from Bob McNabb, the first one, of course, from George Graham. And John Dempsey trying to steal a yard or two and being stopped by referee David Smith. John Dempsey with the free kick for Chelsea. Frank McClintock. To Peter Storey. George Graham. To Eddie Kelly. And now to Sammy Nelson. Kelly. Kennedy going in on this one. He's got Dempsey right with him, and Graham never really got hold of that, but it's in, and Armstrong is there with it, with chance enough to cross it as well. Now Houseman for Chelsea. To Osgood. Weller. And now Hudson. Hutchinson making a run towards the near post. Osgood towards the far post. Here's Hutchinson and Roberts there first. Harris. And Weller. Oh, trying to play a 1-2 there. Now Osgood. Still Osgood. Oh, just past. From Osgood. For a fraction of a second, he must have seen his first goal of the season coming up. Good control in a tight situation on the edge of the penalty area, and a fraction too wide as Wilson really flung himself across his goal. Storey. To Hinton. And now Harris. Hollins has gone off on another break and Nelson's gone with him. Hollins! Good work by Hollins! Oh, against the post! Can he do it? He can! John Hollins! Oh, what a beautiful goal! That is what you call an individual goal.
All credit to Ron Harris for the accuracy of this pass down the wing, but it's number 4, John Hollins, who scores it. He's in the centre circle, and there he goes on his run, streaking down towards the opponent's penalty area. And just watch how he catches it on his thigh. Remember, he's running at sprint pace with Nelson herring after him. It's at this point that Wilson decides to come out, maybe too hurriedly, and gives him the chance to lob it over his head. But it hits the crossbar and bounces back. With all the enthusiasm in the world, John Hollins scampers after it, turns. 9 out of 10 players, I reckon, would hit it over the bar from that position, but not him. Right in the centre of the goal, off the meat of the boot. A really wonderful individual goal.
Now, when you hear people talk of individual efforts, that was it. He made all the running, and then when the bad luck struck him, he made the running again. So now Arsenal really have got to come out and do something, although in all honesty, the nearest to a goal before Hollins came strictly from Arsenal. I think Kennedy with his feet a little too high there. Hutchinson labouring a little bit. He's taken 1 or 2 knocks, and Houseman offside. Again, you can see the perspiration there on Hutchinson's face as the whistle goes for half-time. And the end of 45 minutes for Chelsea, really battering against a brick wall. And finally they found a way through with this man, John Hollins, with his goal just 5 minutes before half-time. So the score at Stamford Bridge at half-time is Chelsea 1, Arsenal 0. We'll be back with more soccer for you in just a couple of minutes from now. So Arsenal then get the second half going. The initiative, I would have thought, must be with Chelsea at the moment, in spite of some superb leadership by Frank McClintock for Arsenal. There's Nelson trying to find Kennedy, but Mulligan to Hollins for Chelsea. Weller. Arsenal's throw. Well, they say there's a new spirit at Highbury, in many ways fostered by Bertie Mee, the man on the right of that picture, the Arsenal manager, and certainly carried onto the field by McClintock. Mulligan off his knee. Kelly fighting hard for that ball. Hutchinson still with him. Eddie Kelly, real little battler, the man of course who scored the first goal in that first cup final at Highbury that put Arsenal on the way to that wonderful trophy. And there's Kelly again. Pat Rice. Kennedy going in, George Graham laying it off there for Nelson. Nelson going past Mulligan, can he turn this one back for Armstrong? There's Kennedy there, and George Graham, and it wouldn't go through to Graham, and Hollins gets there first. Kennedy in fact taking just a little too long to get his position right. McNabb to George Graham, and a goal kick. Well, Arsenal, when they do come forward, there aren't many men coming forward for them, but they're causing all sorts of little pinpricks in this Chelsea defence. Peter Bonetti with the goal kick. Hutchinson winning it in the air and winning it well to find Osgood. Osgood turning that on beautifully, though, for Weller. Weller versus McClintock. McClintock is down, but not out. Armstrong, good play here by Arsenal to Nelson, sweeping it across field to Story, and Rice really battling down that right now to take it from Story. Harris, and Harris only had to turn that inside to Houseman, and a beautiful gap would have opened up there for Peter Houseman. Chelsea's throw, and Ron Harris with it. A welcome piece of shade down this side of the field. McClintock to Story. George Graham. And in fact, he must have been pushed from the back by Dempsey. David Smith having a word with George Armstrong, and Armstrong now taking the kick for Arsenal. Graham going in on it! Very close indeed, one of those again towards the near post, where the attacker needs to be just an inch or so ahead of a defender to make it very difficult for the defence. But Graham couldn't quite turn it back enough. Roberts giving Hutchinson a push in the back. And Chelsea, as soon as that whistle's gone for the free kick, are away again as Harris looks for Houseman, and Rice should get there first. And a free kick given against Peter Houseman. And Rice to Wilson. Kennedy swooping to get to that one. Armstrong to Nelson. No, still in play, says the linesman. So it's George Armstrong. Kennedy looking for this one as well. And number 4, Kelly! Over the line! Oh, a goal by Kelly! Out of the blue!
There was a suspicion of that ball being out of play, but just let's look now and see as it's controlled on the line there by Nelson. The whole of the ball, remember, has got to be over the line, and I think quite clearly you can see that it's remained in play. He slips it inside now to Armstrong, and a floated cross into the middle there. And now you can see how Kelly steals in between the two Chelsea defenders. I think Harris was expecting Graham to head it. And notice the power of this header, because although Bonetti's in a good position, he can't get his arms up to react. There's Bonetti, the ball over his head, and he reacts too late. But you can understand Kelly reacting in that manner.
So 6 minutes of the second half gone, and Arsenal showing tremendous spirit of drawn level. You can't say too much about McClintock and the way that he has kept his men going. So much of it down to him. Hollins. And now Rice. Armstrong, and now Kennedy. And Dempsey back to Bonetti. Now Hudson for Chelsea. Hollins. Hutchinson. Osgood. And McNabb picking that up nicely. Chance for another break for Arsenal. Armstrong. Graham. Armstrong again. Kennedy making a run for it. And Bonetti getting there a fraction first. Houseman. And Osgood. To Hollins. To Mulligan. Hudson again. A little one there that looks for Hutchinson with his head. And Hutchinson, in fact, who's got a bandage around his leg. That must have been done at half-time, the bandage put on, that injury in the first half. Cutting down his mobility. Harris with the throw. McClintock, suspiciously like handball, but David Smith was right in line. Another throw now to Arsenal. Eddie Kelly to George Graham. And a bit of pushing and shoving going on there between Story and Harris. Two of the strong men of football. And Hutchinson, in fact, has gone off the field. And Cook is coming on. There goes Hutchinson away. And Arsenal going away as well. Dempsey to get it off. Cook waiting to come on. Flick there towards Kennedy. And Weller now to pick it up for Chelsea. Houseman. And the ball in touch, which will probably be the chance for Cook to come on. To the delight of the Chelsea fans. No disrespect to Ian Hutchinson, but this man really has got a special place in the hearts of Chelsea fans. Charlie Cook. Now the referee and linesman deciding whose throw it is, I should think. And they've decided that, in fact, that it's Arsenal's throw and Bob McNabb with it. Dempsey. McNabb. Weller. And Weller beating McNabb very well indeed, very skillfully, with a good deal of determination as well, but a poor pass. John Roberts. Cook really diving in left, right and centre there. Obviously eager to get into this game. Now Hollins. Houseman with Harris going up outside him. So Kelly takes Houseman and Story's gone for Harris. And the ball falls to Rice. Now Story. Kennedy. But Hudson. Osgood. McClintock taking a buffeting there in the chin, and McClintock and Osgood getting stuck into each other, right under the eyes of the referee. And the book is out. The book is out for the name of Peter Osgood to go into it. And it looks as though McClintock also is going in. Well, there's Osgood's name anyhow. Well, it looks as though McClintock is in as well. So Peter Osgood and Frank McClintock, in a game that really never has looked as though it's going to erupt, has now ended with two guys having their names taken. And they're still going on. And now Harris and Houseman off down the left, keeping it in, but Rice is with him. And I don't think the referee can allow that, so it's got to be a free kick to Arsenal. Dempsey and Kennedy going for that one. Harris to get it away as far as Cook. McClintock versus Osgood again, and McClintock hasn't lost much to Osgood this afternoon. Here's McClintock again. Cookie chasing everything. Oh, and going into Rice well after that ball had gone. And McClintock is furious with Cook, and I wouldn't think the referee would be very happy either. Of course, it's been frustrating for Chelsea. We know that in attack, with so many Arsenal men funneling back whenever there's the slightest hint of danger. But against that, you've again got to repeat that Arsenal, if anything, have made more chances this afternoon than Chelsea have made. Cook really charging in like a bull almost, and McClintock absolutely furious with him. And Cook being sternly spoken to there by referee David Smith. I should think so as well. And in goes Cook's name into that book, and really he can have no complaints. He's charging about there like an enraged bull on one Arsenal player after the other, and you just can't do that sort of thing. Well, it's been a tough afternoon for Frank McClintock, I must say, with Cook and with Osgood. Thought for a moment that was a bandage. But no, just to keep his socks up. And Pat Rice with the kick. Hudson running himself into a fair bit of trouble again. And Chelsea's throw. Well, they've got a little over 5 minutes left now, Chelsea, to make something of this home advantage, and the fact that Arsenal are badly weakened by injuries. Cook. Still 1-1. Osgood. Mulligan in a lot of space down the right. And a good pass there from Osgood to Mulligan. And there it is by Mulligan! Paddy Mulligan!
Well, that goal came directly from this throw-in without Chelsea losing the ball. There's Charlie Cook picking it up now. He finds Peter Osgood, who shows us what a football brain he has. As he cuts across the field, watch the way he curves this ball right into the space on the far side, almost tempting McNabb to go for it, but giving Mulligan a wonderful chance to streak past him, which he does beautifully. There's the left foot shot. Once again, Wilson's left stranded with no one to help him. And as a result of it, what a lovely smile.
Well, it's put Chelsea ahead with something like 5 minutes to go. Harris away. And although the tackling has been strong and Arsenal have looked a lot to defence, I would have thought that Arsenal, with their courage alone, deserve to get something out of this game. Well, they'll really have to fight for it now. McNabb to Roberts. An offside given against, I can't think who, but the linesman was really flagging there. But the referee has said it's a goal kick. Well, John Hollins, who put Chelsea ahead, must be well pleased to see that they're ahead again. Hudson. Nobody for the deep cross at all. 2, 4, 6, 7 Arsenal men are back, and if Cook crosses it, Osgood now gone into a position. That's why he had to delay. Now Houseman. Hollins with Harris outside him. Here's Harris. Now can he beat Rice? He's got it across, but not far enough for Osgood. But Cook to Osgood again, a little slow there off the mark, Peter Osgood, and McNabb back to Wilson. Harris. Oh, and a bad tackle there by Story on Hollins. A free kick to Chelsea. That was a bad tackle by Peter Story. It's been a tough afternoon though for people. There's no question about that. When they've been coming forward, they've been stopped at all costs. And here's Cook again for Chelsea. Oh, beautiful skills there at the far post, and Roberts putting it away. Beautiful skills there by the byline from Charlie Cook, who made space for himself where none seemed to exist. Beautiful play by Cook, and if Roberts hadn't been there to nod it away, then Osgood most certainly would have been there to nod it in. Number 9 Osgood, 12 Charlie Cook. Here's the corner coming up now from Peter Houseman. Osgood poised to leap, and Wilson also. George Graham to Peter Story. Armstrong losing it to Hollins, and so it's Harris. Houseman's gone through the middle, perfectly onside. Now what can he do? Arsenal are miles behind him. He's turned it in, and too far for Weller. Perhaps kicking himself now that he didn't take on Wilson as well and try to make it number 3. Hudson, and now Cook, and he is offside. That's perhaps what Houseman should have done, but he's offside. Oh, and then he didn't get it in. Last desperate throw by Arsenal. It's got to be now, and in fact that looks to me as though that's the whistle. Sounds like it, and it is the final whistle here at Stamford Bridge. A tough derby game, which John Hollins gave Chelsea the lead. There's the number 4 Eddie Kelly, the 2 number 4s. Kelly, who made it 1-1, and then Paddy Mulligan, the number 2 for Chelsea, who gave Chelsea that victory. There he is, so close to the end. So the final score then at Stamford Bridge this afternoon is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 1.